all news, all the time. This is 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM, New York.
Good afternoon, 46 degrees, cloudy skies now at 4 o'clock. I'm Larry Mullins, and here's what's happening. Mayor-elect Zoran Mamdani says Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch is perfect for the job.
And I want to thank the commissioner and the officers that are here for the work that they do each and every day to keep New Yorkers safe.
With that, Tisch will remain in her role, guiding the biggest municipal police force in the country. Encryption, data reporting, body cam access, all part of a big city council hearing going on to shore up policing in the Big Apple and tighten accountability systems. A mother's nightmare on Long Island, but it ended well. A little boy loses consciousness. Mom drives his lifeless body to a hospital. Says it was nothing but angels sitting there waiting for her to bring that baby back to life. And then in New Jersey, life imitating art, at least the darker side of it, after an actor who plays a bad guy spots a bad guy acting out in real life in an alleged kidnapping. And the nostalgia of cobblestone streets along the Brooklyn waterfront. It's back. It's after a multi-million-dollar makeover, and it was done brick by brick. AccuWeather says tonight, cloudy skies will drop down to a low of 38 degrees on this Wednesday night. Wednesday News Time 4:01, and from your Mercedes-Benz-of-Edison.com traffic center, let's get you where you need to go tonight. Here's Greg Rice.
Here is what we see on Front Big 3, the eastbound Southern State Parkway, getting you out towards the area of Peninsula Boulevard. I'm still looking at this on the jam cam. You got a crash in the left lane. There's a couple of tow trucks. There's a fire engine. There are a whole lot of flashing lights on the eastbound Southern State, and that's why you got to stand still from Central Avenue. Eastbound Sunrise Highway, the better ride home. Long Island Expressway in Nassau, messy either way to Roslyn Road. The westbound crashes off to the shoulder, but don't tell everybody slowing down. There's no reason not to. Eastbound Northern State Parkway, also a bit nasty from the Cross Island all the way on out towards Roslyn Road. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. Citybound George, about an extra 15 on the upper, maybe 10 minutes on the inbound lower. West Side Highway, sluggish down to the 70s, yeah, but everything else is worse. Northbound Deegan, best you got out of the Bronx. Also getting you up towards the Lincoln and just past it. Northbound along 12th Avenue between 46th and 47th Street. Somebody stalled out in the middle lane, making that ride worse. Outbound 11th Avenue is worse than 9th. Inbound Lincoln's about 10 minutes. Holland, it's a half hour out of town. Inbound Holland, no more than a few minutes from the Skyway, but you can do even better off of the inbound Newark Bay extension. Greg Rice, 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM.
From New York City Hall, if it ain't broke, then don't fix it. Usually when a new administration takes over, they bring in their own people to set a fresh new start. But New York Mayor-elect Zoran Mamdani says, well, at least in one critical area of the city, I don't need to do a thing. And with that, he tapped current Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch to remain in that role. Marla Diamond with today's announcement.
Mamdani and Tisch have expressed divergent views on key policing strategies.
Yeah, so right now we're here to visit the memorial and honor the legacy of service that so many of our officers have left, and I'm sure there will be plenty of time to discuss all of that, but I really want to leave politics out of today's discussions here.
And I want to thank the commissioner and the officers that are here for the work that they do each and every day to keep New Yorkers safe.
Mamdani said the two share a goal of rooting out corruption and standing up to authoritarianism. Marla Diamond, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
And the decision to retain Commissioner Tisch bodes well with the rank and file, for the most part. Detectives Endowment President Scott Monroe here.
Commissioner Tisch is, driving crime down. She has an excellent rapport with the Detectives Endowment Association, giving us all the tools to go out there and do our job day to day, and making sure that they stay on the job so we don't lose our experience.
Yeah, the head of the PBA, Patrick Henry, says it's okay with them as well, although Henry says hopefully Tisch and Mamdani can do something about increasing their ranks, retaining the officers who are still left in the meantime, and making things a little easier for the officers on the street, especially after so many have left in recent years. Tisch has led the nation's largest police department since November 2024. This after a revolving door of commissioners, all appointed by Mayor Adams. It was Adams who also appointed Tisch. He released a statement today applauding the move. Well, the City Council Committee considering a plethora of bills tonight, which would affect how the NYPD provides info to the public. The four bills include legislation on the police department's radio channels. NYPD started encrypting those channels in 2023, which means there's no way for journalists, emergency services, or the general public to have access to what's really going on with them. Earlier this year, state lawmakers voted to stop the NYPD's attempt to block its radio communications from the public. It's in the name of police transparency. That bill's still waiting on Governor Hochul's desk, by the way. An incident on Long Island at Northwell Health in Huntington is being recalled by a woman who says her little boy practically died, but was brought back by a group of angels, she calls them, who were waiting for her at the hospital.
Mother of three, Maria Carlin, says her 4-year-old son Jack was having trouble breathing, but on the drive to Huntington Hospital, he collapsed in his car seat.
Do I continue driving, knowing that my child's in the back seat, not getting oxygen?
She decided to keep driving the 4 minutes more.
I wish no one experiences anything like this.
Soon after arriving, the hospital staff got a pulse.
His gray, lifeless body. I went in carrying him. I had angels sitting waiting for me.
Doctors say he had a rare disorder that caused a hole in his throat. It was repaired, and he gave thumbs up when asked how he's feeling. Sophia Hall, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM on Long Island.
Advocates say the entire episode speaks volumes about the importance of community-based hospitals there when you need them. Little man got a couple of monster trucks out of it, too. Boy, he'll be shocked when Mom tells him about it when he gets older. In New Jersey, an actor who plays a bad guy on Law & Order got to play the real-life role of a good guy who stopped a potential kidnapping.
As you can hear in this 911 call, the sound obtained by TMZ, actor George Bagatelle is giving chase for real, trying to stop a suspect who had just grabbed a 19-year-old woman and was dragging her down the street.
911 operator, 189. Yeah. What's the emergency? Emergency. Hello. We haven't tried to abduct this woman, okay? And we're driving down one side.
After nearly 4 minutes, the suspect let the woman go and took off.
You know, I guess that's the moral of the story here is, you know, you don't be afraid to help some people and just do the right thing, you know?
Now, in the time that this has happened, he has not yet been reunited with the victim. He's hoping, though, he will, maybe even over Thanksgiving. Glenn Shuck, 1010 Wins, 92.3 FM, Jersey City.
Yeah, it says here the creep kept telling his alleged victim, don't let them call the police now because they'll detain you. In other words, allegedly threatening that ICE would show up and deport the lady. And AccuWeather says a little rain ending early. Otherwise, tonight becoming cloudy once again during the evening, a low of 38. And then tomorrow, Thursday, clouds and a few peaks of sun, especially from the city north. We'll get to a high of 49. We're at 46 right now in Central Park. In Morrisania, the Bronx, they're using words like beloved, godly to describe a 90-year-old woman who died in a big fire yesterday. The blaze broke out on East 168th Street about 9 p.m. More than 60 firefighters responded. A lady named Arita Joseph, who lived next door to the woman who died, said the fire department had to knock down the wall of her apartment to get to the flames. Ms. Joseph says it's a sad night for the community because the wheelchair-bound victim was as sweet as she could be. They're still investigating the cause of that fire. They didn't immediately release the name of the victim because they hadn't notified her family yet. They're holding funeral services for former Vice President Dick Cheney tomorrow in Washington. Several high-profile political figures will be there for the man considered one of the most influential vice presidents in U.S. history. Ex-President Biden is attending. They're holding their services at Washington National Cathedral. They're starting at 11. Former President George Bush, who Cheney served for 2 terms, will deliver a tribute. Cheney's daughter, former Congresswoman Liz Cheney, and her grandchildren, I should say, will also deliver remarks. Cheney died earlier this month at the age of 84. In a statement, his family called him noble giant of a man. Wins news time 4:11, and from your Mercedes-Benz of Edison.com traffic center to get you where you need to go. Here is Greg Guy.
Well, it is still nasty on the eastbound side of the Southern State Parkway, trying to get you home in Nassau. Eastbound Southern State Parkway, getting you over to Peninsula Boulevard. They're trying to push a crash off to the left shoulder. I say trying because enough of the left lane is still blocked to make a mess all the way back towards the Cross Island Parkway. The ride right now on the southbound side of the Wantagh, awful, coming down towards the area of Newbridge Road, southbound Seaford, Oyster Bay, and Meadowbrook do it better. Meadowbrook is slow either way to the northern state because of a crash, and the LI jams up either way to Glen Cove Road because of a crash. Expect big traffic tonight getting out towards UBS Arena with the Jonas Brothers concert. It's not bad yet, but it will be soon. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. Outbound side of the George Washington Bridge, you got to go to the upper level, I should say. Outbound lower level of the George, subject to closure on the Jersey side, all because of a number of crashes. So again, outbound upper level, the only option, and the west side is the best way to get there. Lincoln into the city is no more than a few. Outbound Lincoln Tunnel, 20 minutes from 11th, better from 9th, 30 to 40 home at the Holland, and on the Jersey side of the Newark Bay Extension is the better idea. Greg Rice, 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM.
Thank you, G. And now your AccuWeather 4-day forecast. Meteorologist John Fury with this live report.
The clouds have thinned out a little bit this afternoon across the tri-state area, but looks like they're going to fill back in later on tonight. Down in the upper 20s in a few suburbs, closer to the upper 30s in and around the city. And then tomorrow we'll have clouds, a few sunny breaks, still a little bit chillier than the average for this time of the year, high to 49. Mostly cloudy tomorrow night down to 42, and then mostly cloudy Friday. Most of the day's dry. It's not as chilly. We're up into the mid-50s, maybe a shower late in the day Friday. A better chance to see some rain as we head through Friday night. And then Saturday, a leftover shower or two in the morning. Clouds give way to some sun. A high Saturday is to 52, and it looks dry for Sunday with some sun. Highs pretty close to 50. Right now in Central Park, 47 with some clouds, going down to 38 tonight in Midtown. I'm AccuWeather's John Feerick on New York's weather station, 1010 winds on 92.3 FM.
Turning overseas for a minute here, a nightmare across Ukraine after a barrage of bombs are dropped in one of the fiercest attacks on part of Russia since the start of that war.
Russia launching more than 450 attack drones and 48 missiles. A residential apartment block in the west of the country taking a direct hit. Another catching fire. At least 20 people killed, including children, dozens more wounded. The top floors completely destroyed, and overnight in Kharkiv, leaving dozens more injured.
In panel, Ukrainian leader Volodymyr Zelensky arrived in Turkey today for top-level talks to try and muster diplomatic support against Russia's invasion of his country. In Brooklyn, let the good times flow. After 6 years and a ton of money, they'll pull across a cobblestone road. Yes, they will. A big restoration project along the Brooklyn waterfront is done. Check it out. Each cobblestone and the work underneath done brick by brick. Oh, yeah.
The iconic cobblestones you see when strolling through Dumbo aren't going anywhere.
The look is so charming.
26 cobblestone blocks were restored. On one block, the DOT converted asphalt to cobblestone.
I really enjoy them, and I do think that it adds to the picturesque of the scene.
Says tourist Mona.
These are streets that hadn't been touched in, more than 100 years.
And Alexandria Sika with the Dumbo Business Improvement District says when they did touch them, they found some old things.
Buttons, they found pieces of pipe, they found all sorts of ways that people lived over these centuries.
An accidental time capsule. Mac Rosenberg, 1010 wins on 92.3 FM.
I love it. Accidental time capsule. The Gridlock Alert Days start today, everybody, ahead of the holiday season, which means you can expect slow-moving traffic, and especially in Manhattan. Technically, Gridlock Days began when the United Nations came here, but took a little break for the holidays. Transportation officials telling people to use mass transit whenever possible, as much as possible. And they say be sure to take out or check out a list of the Gridlock Days for the 2025 holiday season. It's on their website. So can you remember your first kiss? Well, scientists say no matter how far back you remember, the human kiss has a prehistoric beginning. And you have our primate friends to thank for the smooch.
Kiss me, you fool. It's featured in films, paintings, sculptures, and novels. Now, scientists at Oxford University think they know when kissing entered the human repertoire.
We have found that it probably first evolved as far back as 21.5 million years ago in the ancestor to all of the large apes.
Co-author Matilda Brindle. In addition to mating rituals, platonic kisses may have helped with social bonding in many primate species. Brindle says chimps will literally kiss and make up after a fight.
Vicky Barker reporting, and your headlines are next. The station you know, the people you trust.
All news, all the time. This is 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Market 46 degrees here at 420. I'm Larry Mullins, and here's what's happening. More from downtown with Mayor-elect Zoran Mamdani announced today. Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch will stay on the job, leading the city's finest. Looking for the teenager who punched an MTA bus driver in the face, sent him to the hospital. This happened over in Forest Hills. We got a picture of the suspect. Part 2 of the Wicked franchise coming out this week, but some theaters actually releasing it ahead of the pack at select theaters. We talked to some folks who are going to see it. Attorney General Pam Bondi says she'll follow the law to make available all unclassified records pertaining to the Jeffrey Epstein case. They're still waiting on President Trump to sign the measure approved by the House and Senate yesterday. And a health study which says ultra-processed food can possibly harm every major human organ in your body. Oh, now they tell us. AccuWeather says cloudy skies tonight. Drop down to a low of 38 degrees on this Wednesday night. When's news time 421? And from your Mercedes-Benz of Edison.com traffic center now, here is Greg Rice.
Okay, Southern State Parkway, it's awful, but it's going to get better. Eastbound Southern State, we are still at a standstill in Nassau County Central Avenue, all the way to Peninsula Boulevard. The root of all this, that big crash that had 2 lanes out, that is gone. Here's what we see on Long Island's Big 3. The rest of it, Long Island Expressway, extra slow either way over the Roslyn Road. There's a westbound crash. It's off to the shoulder, but everybody is stopping here at Roslyn Road to have a look at this. Now that over jam cam, looks like they may have touched the right lane with those emergency responders to try to speed everything along. Northern State Parkway, eastbound, loaded up out of Nassau, all the way back towards Glen Cove Road. Southbound, you don't want the Wantagh, you got to crash from the left lane just before Hempstead Turnpike. That makes a mess of things. All the way back to the Northern State. Stay with the Seaford Oyster Bay. Cross Island's already slow either way to UBS. It's going to get worse. You got a Jonas Brothers concert there later on this evening. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. Outbound lower level of the George, they closed it again. Outbound lower deck of the George shut down, crash, fuel spill, the whole 9 yards. The outbound upper level right now, much better idea on west side, the better ride to get you out of town. Lincoln Tunnel, you got a pretty good ride in, 20 to 30 out from 11th, better from 9th. About a half hour home at the Holland, and on the Jersey side, Newark Bay. That's the better play either way. Greg Rice, 1010 wins at 92.3 FM.
She's not going anywhere. Nope. Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch will remain in her role in the new Zora and Mamdani administration. He says she's doing a great job, and the police unions like what she's doing, so why fix it? They announced the extended stay this morning at a police memorial site.
Commissioner Tisch said she was at the memorial to honor the sacrifices of the NYPD, not talk politics.
And I'm sure there will be plenty of time to discuss all of that, but I really want to leave politics out of today's discussion.
The mayor-elect said he wants to ease the stress on the rank and file.
The commissioner and I share a belief in the fact that in order for police officers to be able to do their jobs, we also need to create a Department of Community Safety that will be tasked with those responsibilities.
The two have expressed divergent views on the disciplining of officers accused of wrongdoing and the enforcement of quality of life offenses. Marla Diamond, 1010 wins on 92.3 FM.
Adam says she's wonderful. I hired her. She's great. Issuing an official statement saying we all want a safer city, and keeping Commissioner Tisch in place and supporting our police officers every day with the policies we, the Adams administration, have implemented is exactly how we do that, making sure we don't forget about him. In other news, police looking for the unruly strap hanger now who punched an MTA bus driver in the face on Monday after a big dispute. This happened in front of 80 Cooper Avenue. Doesn't say if the driver was actually on the bus or not, but a 47-year-old told police he was slugged by an unidentified individual who then fled eastbound on Cooper. The driver ended up at LIJ in Forest Hills. He's in stable condition. He's going to be okay. They described the attacker as a guy about 16, 18 years old, teenager with a slim build and brown eyes. He was last seen wearing a yellow hoodie, some gray sweats, and light-colored shoes. This happened at 6:30 in Glendale, by the way. If any of this jogs your memory, they want you to call the police, Crime Stoppers, at 800-577-TIPS. President Trump promoting the U.S.-Saudi business relationship as the Saudi Crown Prince continues his visit to D.C.
The president says he's proud Saudi Arabia has pledged to invest $1 trillion in U.S. businesses. He also said foreign workers must get some of those plants up and running.
We want those people to teach our people how to make computer chips and how to make other things.
At the U.S.-Saudi Investment Forum, the president acknowledged some pushback from his own MAGA base.
They're going to have to bring thousands of people with them, and I'm going to welcome those people.
Some prominent MAGA supporters have said this is the opposite of America First.
Correspondent Linda Kenyon reporting. AccuWeather says tonight it'll cloud up once again. During the evening, we'll drop to 38. Complete AccuWeather coming in just a few. And now Bloomberg Money Watch.
Wall Street's indexes found their way higher, finally, today. The Dow, after being down most of the day, ended up 47 points. S&P 500 up 25. NASDAQ gained more than 0.5%, 131 points. Minutes of the October Fed Reserve policy meeting released today show that many economists and Wall Street traders had expected sharp disagreement after cutting rates a 0.25 percentage point on what the Fed should do next. Several policymakers said they believed another rate cut at the Fed's final meeting of the year next month could well be appropriate, but many policymakers, according to those same minutes, said a December cut is likely not appropriate. I'm Andrew O'Day, Bloomberg Money Watch on 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM.
1010 Wins.
They cover everything.
Definitely where I go to keep up what's trending. I love all the attention to detail.
Great in the morning. Ready after work. Gotta know what's happening in my city.
1010 Wins.
On 92.3 FM. 1010 Wins because we are better together. 46 degrees, Wins News Time, 4:30.
Good afternoon. I'm Lori Metton. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi says she'll follow the law when it comes to the Epstein files after the House and Senate passed a bill requiring the Justice Department to release documents on the convicted sex offender. Bondi also says they will encourage all victims to come forward. Nearly all lawmakers supported the measure, and some of the Republicans who were behind it are talking about their vote today.
Congressman Tom Massey said yesterday, when asked why he didn't think the president had released the files, he said the president was protecting donors and friends, and not just Republicans, but Democrats too. Our colleague Rachel Stott asked Marjorie Taylor Greene, another Republican congresswoman, whether she thought the president would actually now release these files, and she said she doesn't take words anymore. She needs to see actions.
Correspondent Karen Travers. Meanwhile, former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers has resigned from the board of OpenAI several days after Congress released documents that showed Summers had a close association with Epstein. Wednesday News Time, 4:31. Let's get you where you need to go. Here's Greg Rice.
Well, here is the ride at the George Washington Bridge. On the outbound lower level of the George, closer to the Jersey side, you still have a couple of right lanes out because of a crash what looks like a fuel spill. So off at the outbound lower level of the George into Jersey, you are single file. So you really want the outbound upper deck. The West Side Highway, yeah, it's slow out of the 70s, but that's the best of it out of town. West side to the outbound upper level, best you got back to Jersey. Northbound Deegan, best of it out of the Bronx. Lincoln, it's about 15 to 20 minutes in, 20 to 30 out from 11. Stay away from 90, stay away from the Holland. That's 30 plus out. And on the Jersey side, the Newark Bay, the far better idea. Whitestone Bridge, the worst of it either way. Queensbound RFK is getting worse. Clearview, Throgs Neck with earlier Bronx-bound trouble gone. That's the best of what you've got either way across the upper East River. It's getting a little nastier right now in Nassau County. The ride at this point on the southbound Wantagh and Hempstead Turnpike, you got a crash in the left lane. Southbound Meadowbrook right off of the Northern State Parkway, collision in the left lane, and the northbound Meadowbrook slows from Corporate Drive up to the Northern State Parkway with a crash that they just pushed off to the shoulder. Long Island Expressway getting better, but still a whole lot of brake lights either way through Glen Cove Road. Greg Rice, 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM.
Let's get a check now of your AccuWeather forecast. Here's meteorologist John Furyk.
A little bit chilly out there again as we head into tonight. Nothing too out of the ordinary, though, for this time of the year. We'll have a partly cloudy sky early on, more clouds moving back in late tonight. Down to 38 Midtown, but upper 20s in many suburbs. And then tomorrow, clouds, some sunshine, still a little bit chillier than average. The high up to 49, mostly cloudy tomorrow night down to 42, and then mostly cloudy for Friday. Most of the day's dry. There could be a shower toward the end of the day, the high up to 55. Then we'll get some rain at times Friday night, perhaps a couple of showers lingering into Saturday morning. We should be dry Saturday afternoon. Clouds break for some sun up to 52, and then some sun Sunday, the high pretty close to 50. And now in Central Park, we've got 47 with a fair amount of clouds still, going down to 38 tonight in Midtown. I'm AccuWeather's John Furyk on New York's weather station, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Check your local theater. It might be running an early screening tonight of Wicked for Good. Some theaters are doing a double feature with the first movie. Fewer Long Islanders are heading into the city to see a Broadway play these days. That's according to the Broadway League and new statistics they released to Newsday.
How many Broadway shows have you gone to recently? None. That's the consensus here in Huntington, where people say they go to the local theaters or simply stream plays from home instead of traveling into the city for Broadway shows.
The performances at Engelman are fabulous. Why are you traveling to New York? You can get great theater here.
This woman just moved to Long Island.
It's so tempting not to leave anywhere. I feel like Huntington is such a great town in terms of, it has everything at your doorstep. And I love the city. It's just, if you don't need to leave, why?
Another big reason for not traveling into the city, people working from home, and it's easier just staying local. Sophia Hall, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM on Long Island.
New research has found that ultra-processed foods can harm every major organ in your body. Dr. Celine Gounder is editor-at-large for public health at KFF. and the CBS News medical contributor.
These Lancet studies combined data from a number of long-term studies looking at what are the health risks of ultra-processed foods. So we see an increased risk of obesity, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, depression, and even early death.
The analysis says ultra-processed food poses a seismic threat to global health. College students are weighing in on nutrition. A new survey finds that they think poor eating habits are more of a problem than drugs and alcohol.
A poll conducted for the health organization Touch Grass Together found 82% of college students say unhealthy diets are a problem on campus, while 71% cited alcohol or drug abuse. Many students say their campus dining halls, cafes, and vending machines lack healthy food options and serve too many ultra-processed foods, which they say leaves them feeling sluggish or down.
Correspondent Michael Wallace, 47 degrees now, cloudy here in the city. We're going down to 38 degrees tonight. Kevin Costner is ready to hear Hail to the Chief. That story's next. Now 1010 wins entertainment. Kevin Costner is feeling very presidential these days.
My fellow Americans, after these 4 good, hard years, I still believe in a place called hope.
Variety says Costner is considering playing President Bill Clinton in a series about the United Nations. The report says Costner will executive produce along with Leonardo DiCaprio, and that the UN will be involved. Sinners is good with the grown-ups.
Something I've been wanting to tell you for a long time.
Sinners, one battle after another. Train Dreams, A House of Dynamite, and Hamnet are among the Best Picture nominees for the AARP Movies for Grown-Up Awards. The awards will be given out January 10th.
Entertainment on 1010 Wins.
The station you know, the people you trust.
The News Watch never stops. This is 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Good afternoon. 47 degrees at 4:40. I'm Lori Nedden, and here's what's happening. Mayor-elect Zoran Mamdani and Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch visit the NYPD Memorial together in their first joint appearance after Tisch agreed to stay on as top cop. A vote tonight will decide on a 3-year contract extension for school bus companies and the city. 2 people are in critical condition this afternoon after a fire swept through the top floor of a home in East New York. The Brooklyn driver who sped through a red light, killing a woman and her 2 young daughters, is heading to prison. Buffy Comes to Brooklyn, a staged reading and singing of a musical episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, is held in Dumbo tonight. 1010 Wins AccuWeather says partly cloudy this evening, low 38 degrees here in the city, down to the 20s in some suburbs. Cloudy tomorrow with peaks of sunshine, high 49. Wins News Time 4:41 from the Mercedes-Benz of Edison.com Traffic Center. Let's get you where you need to go. Here's Greg Rice.
Well, here is a better ride at the George. Outbound lower level on the Jersey side. Whatever it was, that earlier crash that spilled some fuel on the roadway, it's gone. They've gotten everything reopened on the outbound lower level of the George. But getting there, yeah, that's the rub. The northbound west side highway is still a slow ride from the 70s on up. And that's the best of it because everything else is just awful out of the Bronx. Northbound Deegan, best you can hope for. Citybound the George is fine. Holland Tunnel getting you out of lower Manhattan, 30 to 40 minutes. The inbound Holland, the Skyway is a mess. Newark Bay is better. Lincoln Tunnel, 20 to 30 out from 11th. You on 9th. Inbound Lincoln, an extra 15 to 20 minutes. Whitestone, the worst of it either way across the Upper East. Throgs Neck, Clearview combination is what you want. Emphasis on the Clearview because the Cross Island's already bad and going to get worse. You've got a Jonas Brothers concert over at UBS Arena tonight, so expect a whole lot of people heading over towards UBS. Whole lot of people on the east side of Manhattan. Southbound FDR at a standstill from the RFK Bridge all the way down towards the Queensboro. Looks like on the southbound FDR right near the Queensboro, we're looking at a crash. Southbound West Side Highway, that'll be a better idea. Nassau County, not so easy. On the southbound of Longshore, coming down to Hempstead Turnpike, a crash in the left lane. A bad ride all the way back towards the northern state. The Seaford Oyster Bay, better either way. Greg Rice, 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM.
Mayor-elect Zoran Mamdani and his choice to be police commissioner. Current Commissioner Jessica Tisch made their first joint appearance together today. They walked to the police memorial in Lower Manhattan, chatted with some officers, and shared a conversation that was out of earshot of reporters. Tish later said she agreed to remain top cop after several conversations with Mamdani.
Jessica Tish's decision to stay on may ease concerns over Mamdani's past criticism of the NYPD, but both declined to answer questions about their past differences at the memorial.
Right now, we're here to visit the memorial and honor the legacy of service that so many of our officers have left, and I'm sure there will be plenty of time to discuss all of that.
Mamdani did discuss a point of agreement.
It's untenable for officers to be asked to respond to the 200,000 mental health calls they receive every year, to be tasked with the responsibility of taking on the mental health crisis, the homelessness crisis.
He said those issues can be handled by a new Department of Community Safety. Marla Diamond, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
PBA President Patrick Hendry was happy to hear that Tish was staying on.
Stability is very, very important to New York City police officers. Commissioner Tish understands what New York City police officers are going through on a daily basis. We have worked together to accomplish trying to fix those issues that are going on. And we're truly happy that she's staying on as police commissioner, and it's a good step forward.
Mayor Adams, who is visiting Uzbekistan, released a statement saying the appointment of Tish recognizes that his public safety efforts were right. The city's panel for educational policy is scheduled to vote later tonight on a 3-year extension for school bus contracts with the city. Last month, all sides agreed to a short-term extension that kept the buses running. More than 150,000 students in New York City rely on yellow school buses. 2 people are in critical condition this afternoon following a fire in East New York, Brooklyn. The FDNY says that blaze erupted on the top floor of a house on Bradford Street early this morning. No word yet on a cause. 12 FDNY units responded. It took firefighters about 45 minutes to bring that blaze under control. An actor who you may be familiar with from some popular shows got to play the real-life hero.
George Bagatelle has often played the bad guy, including in The Sopranos and Law & Order, but on this night, the good guy.
Playing the bad guy is fun, but being a good guy in real life is a lot more rewarding. I'm happy I was able to be there for this woman.
When Bagatelle saw this 19-year-old woman being carried over a guy's shoulder along Hancock Avenue, Bagatelle gave chase and called 911 at the same time.
911 operator went now. Yeah, this man was trying to abduct this woman, okay? And he's running down Hancock Avenue. He was trying to abduct the woman. I had to stop him.
The sound there from TMZ. Bagatelle telling 1010 Wins he's happy he didn't hesitate. Glenn Schuck, 1010 Wins, 92.3 FM.
The Brooklyn woman who had a history of speeding violations and who sped through a red light in Midwood, killing a mother and her 2 young daughters, has been sentenced to 3 to 9 years behind bars. During her sentencing today, a tearful Miriam Yerimi expressed regret for what she did.
Caused me such a tragedy. Whoa! Whoa!
Yerimi pleaded guilty to reckless manslaughter. 34-year-old Natasha Sada and her 5 and 8-year-old daughters were crossing Ocean Parkway at Hunting Road when they were run down. Police say Yerimi was going 68 miles per hour in a 25-mile-per-hour zone. Relief for a little boy on Long Island and his family after a harrowing incident.
Thank you so much.
4-year-old Jack Carlin had a happy day here at Huntington Hospital. He received monster trucks and a superhero cape. His mother was in tears as she thanked the staff for saving his life.
While I was driving, and I remember God just saying to me, don't look back at him. You can't handle this right now.
Jack was having trouble breathing, but by the time they made it to the hospital, he stopped breathing and was in cardiac arrest.
Must have been after 5 minutes. A nurse said, we got a pulse back.